stop ignoring red flags when they're flapping you in the face. If you were given a life manual at age 12, it'd be pretty fucking boring. All of it, wouldn't it? And yeah, you, woman. Hello. Today's video is going to be a bit meta, right? So about 10 years ago, I made a video where I gave advice to my past self. So what I'm going to do today is react to my past self giving my past self advice, and I'm going to give her some advice. Let's pull her up. I'll pop her down here. I'll be looking over there.
This is an open letter to you from your future self, age 25.
Right,
I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear.
You feel so invincible. I see it in your face. And now you just love naps. You need naps. For her, going to bed early and eating right, all of those things were to do with her looks and her weight. Now granted, she was on the tail end of her food issues, her body issues, but she was still not quite all right. Those things for 34-year-old you are a matter of literal survival. No, let's start.
And I don't think you're going to agree with most of
what Your skin, your hair, please appreciate the thickness and the lusciousness of your hair, because so much of it's going to fall out after a couple of babies. You already know this in your gut, little Melanie, but having a fringe annoys the shite out of you, and having little short bob hair, it's way harder to style and make look nice. When it's long, you can just feck it up in a big messy bun. Don't cut it off so many times in the next few years.
You were in the height of depression, and you were just about to go on an awful journey with generalized anxiety disorder. Your doctor had just told you that you were overweight, and that's not anything that a 19-year-old girl ever wants to hear from a middle-aged man.
I'll never forget that. My doctor taking my BMI and giving me a big talking to. Look, BMI, so inaccurate, so misleading, doesn't take into account muscle mass, bone density, overall body composition, racial and sex differences. Now, yes, at the time, as a teenager, I had gained a lot of body fat from some unhealthy behaviours, but this conversation with my doctor sparked an obsession with checking my BMI for years and years, and that lasted up until my early 30s, being honest, when it came to worrying about whether or not I would find it difficult to get pregnant, the usual worries you can tend to have as you approach that time of your life when you're going to start trying. The BMI was constantly flashing in my mind, and there was so much that I didn't know that I'm now aware of. Firstly, doctors get very little nutrition training in their medical education. Secondly, they don't study BMI in depth. BMI is based on research that's a couple of 100 years old. It was done on 100 odd men who were white, and the man that came up with BMI explicitly said it shouldn't be used to indicate the level of fatness in a person. But darling, question it, use your brain a bit more. You already know that the whole calories thing, 1,000 calories of apples isn't the same as 1,000 calories of Skittles. Your weight will change throughout your 20s and your 30s through circumstance. And yeah, BMI is not your friend, especially while you're pregnant.
There's so many relationship problems with absolutely everybody in your life. You were completely lost. You didn't know where you wanted to go, what you wanted to do, who you were. You
still don't know who you are while you're speaking, and even now, age 34, I would say I'm still figuring it out, but I don't think I'm ever going to figure it out.
You need to stop doing things just to please other people and stop trying to be somebody that you're not. Right now you feel like a shuttle being launched.
So I know what you're getting at here, stop performing in bed to win his approval, stop repressing your true emotions to avoid confrontation and people pleasing. Yeah, good advice, but let me flip it for a minute. As a mother now to 2 young children, current me spends a lot of time doing things just to please other people, as you said, and it is not a bad thing. 3 a.m. breastfeeding when my back is aching, and it'd be nice to just roll over and go back asleep in a comfortable position, but baby matters more. You are no longer the main character. Enthusiastically playing with tractors with your 3-year-old on the floor while you just wanna cozy up and watch a movie and stuff your face with chocolate and not think or talk or have anyone touching you. Changing nappies and helping your baby to learn how to walk around the house when you'd love to be out on a date with your husband who you adore very much. It's weird, like you'll find that in the sacrifice of motherhood, there's so much purpose and meaning and happiness. And in motherhood, I'm always trying to be someone that I'm not, you know, always. Like, I'm always striving to be a more patient me, a kinder me, a more forgiving me. Trying to be someone that you're not. It might just mean you're not them yet. Like, it doesn't have to be bad news.
Everything around you is happening so fast and you don't have time to process what's going on, so you've reverted into your little shell. You haven't left the house in a year. You've been playing World of Warcraft all night, eating and sleeping all day, and that is not healthy. Your mother and your auntie are trying to force you to watch The Secret movie and read the book The Secret. They are doing you a massive favour, and I would advise you to read it and absorb the information. Once you do this and you start thinking positively, your mindset is going to change completely and everything about your life is going to change completely.
Oh, Melly. So look, okay, The Secret. If you don't know what The Secret is, I used to talk about it a lot online. It was a worldwide phenomenon when it came out. It's a book, essentially presents you with information on the law of attraction, so like tapping into the universe, asking for your wildest dreams and knowing that they're going to come true, tapping into a power that we supposedly all have.
I've seen many miracles take place in people's lives. Financial miracles, miracles of physical healing, mental healing, healing in relationships.
Thoughts become things.
Here's the problem. Most people are thinking about what they don't want, and they're wondering why it shows up over and over and over again.
The book, at the time, helped me immensely. It helped me to just, like, rewire my brain enough that I became open to change. Made me realize I could be a bit more optimistic about life, and the thing is, it kind of turned me into this ball of blind optimism, you know? This video is from 2014, and I was very unaware of my privileges in life. And it's crazy to say that now, because nowadays we're all very much more aware of how our privileges shape what is and isn't possible for us in this world, in this life. But back then, that kind of stuff just wasn't part of public discourse. We're going back a long way with this video, so please forgive her. There are some great things about the book, don't get me wrong. Like, the author taught me about the power of my thoughts. I had no idea how much my thoughts could influence me. And vision boards, like, I still love me a vision board, but I don't think the book does a great job at making the distinction between, like, just wishful thinking and taking meaningful action to making your dreams come true, and like going out and looking for opportunities and just believing in yourself, that kind of thing. I didn't realize how much at the time that I used to push down and dismiss negative emotions, because I thought that positive thinking meant that I kind of always had to try and turn a negative situation into a positive one, and it's not the way it has to be. Positive and negative emotions can coexist. Happiness and unhappiness can hold hands. It's actually really hard to enjoy positive emotions and success and whatnot if you don't first know what it's like to fail and to be disappointed and to be sad, to feel emotional pain. That's part of life. Suffering is something that comes to us all, and I think it's a bit dangerous to place happiness as your main goal in life, because there's going to be unhappy times and you're going to feel like a failure simply because you're not happy, which is silly. Like, it's okay to fail, but not being happy is not failing. And Oprah talks about this in her new book, but just always striving to be happier makes more sense than just being like, I have to be happy, I have to find happiness, because happiness isn't something you can just grab and hold on to forever. There are different components to happiness, like enjoyment, satisfaction, purpose. There are pillars of happiness like friendship, family, meaningful work, things like that. And sometimes one of those legs will collapse, and you know, all is not lost. You need to feel the negative feelings, let them run through you, but you don't have to let them rule you. That's a big thing I've learned, is like, You can view your stress as separate to you and feel it, but you can choose how you react to it. Anyway, baby Mel, everything in your life didn't just change in the way that it changed because you read that book. Another thing I want to say about The Secret is that it focuses very much on the results, the end goal, like when you get the money or the house or whatever, and not much about the process, which is sad because so much of life is the journey and the little moments between all the big things. And yeah, like that's just something I think came to me with time.
Things are just not going your way. That is because you are wallowing in it and you're allowing it to continue. You're attracting negativity by constantly being negative and complaining about everything, feeling like the whole world is against you when it's not. You
Stop with the self-blame. It's not your fault that you've been abused by a partner. Sometimes you need a little wallow.
You are so young and you are so full of promise, and there's so much out there for you to achieve with your life if you decide you're going to do it. You are so terrified of asking for help and opening up about all the mental health issues that you've been dealing with. Self-hate, the self-loathing, the low self-esteem, the fears. You need to talk. You need to go to somebody and talk, because I'm telling you now, as soon as you do that, you are going to be able to reflect and develop and move on with your life.
True and false, okay? Talking to a professional, good. What's false is doing a batch of therapy for an issue and talking to someone qualified once, twice, 3 times, however many times. I don't know how much therapy I'd done at that point. But yeah, depending on the issue, it doesn't always mean just moving on. Many things are far too complex and ongoing to just address, and that's you done with it forever. That's why today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. That's BetterHelp, H-E-L-P. Now, I'm not going to ruin the fun and tell little Melanie about what's coming in 2020, but that's when I became acquainted with BetterHelp, and my first of 2 BetterHelp therapists. They are the world's largest therapy service. It's 100% online, and they've got 30,000 therapists, a lot more different types of people than what is available to me in a small town in Ireland. If you could do with speaking to someone who's licensed and experienced, and if you're interested, I've got a link in the description box that'll give you 10% off your first month with BetterHelp, and they can help walk you through so many different awful situations, but all you have to do to get started with them is answer some questions about your preferences and your needs, and that helps them to match you to the right person. With BetterHelp, you can switch therapists at no additional cost. So I switched when I had my children. I just wanted somebody a bit younger who specialised in family matters. What appeals most to me is that I can contact my therapist when I'm comfortable, so oftentimes I just like mind dump in texts at night when I'm lying in bed. I have a weekly call chat, and yeah, it's great when you're time poor, like when you're a new parent. It's so convenient, and having done a lot of in-person therapy in my life right up to before the pandemic, I have found that BetterHelp offer the same level of professionalism, and they have helped me immensely. So yeah, link is in the description box.
Things that you feel are problems for you now are so minute on the scale of the universe. No, but she doesn't like me, and why didn't he reply to my text? And the UK size 16 jeans I just tried on don't fit. My circle of friends is collapsing around me. People are spreading rumours about me. All these things don't matter. Who you are right now is not who you were.
This is me again, I think, just trying to squash negative emotions. Those things very much mattered to me at the time. Like I mentioned there, my friend circle collapsing. When I was around 19, I'll never ever forget, I opened up a message. It was either on Bebo, which is like a prehistoric Facebook, or Facebook, which, let's be real, nobody uses Facebook anymore. But it was a message that had been co-written by like 2 of my friends sat down and wrote this big message. And reflecting on it now, I think they were in the right, but I was in a really toxic relationship on and off for 4 years, and they were hearing all the ins and outs, and I was constantly asking for their advice and constantly ignoring their advice, and they were just watching me slamming my head into a wall and choosing to stay in this horrible situation, and they just couldn't handle it anymore. They were not qualified to be dealing with the stuff I was telling them, and yeah, it was just souring our relationship. It was not a fun time. So yeah, they wrote me this like friendship breakup letter, and it killed me. And because it wasn't just them I was losing, through them there was like a bigger group that we all used to kind of hang out with as acquaintances, but it was us three that were like really close, and it was horrible, and it really hurt me, deeply hurt me, and it was terrifying losing that support. But of course, like at the time I used to cling to friendships, and I didn't know that it's okay to let people go, and not every friendship is supposed to last a lifetime. Sometimes a friend will come into your life on a holiday, or in a certain job, or while you're in college, and they're a friend by circumstance, really, but they can be so important for you, and you can be so important for them, and enrich each other's lives, but they don't have to hang around forever. Just like every romantic partnership is not supposed to last for your whole life, and it doesn't mean it wasn't love. It doesn't mean it was a waste of time. There's so much I want to say to her about this. Like, let yourself feel sad about your friends turning their backs. You're allowed to have feelings.
Change is inevitable and it's beautiful, and you need to embrace that. You need to embrace your flaws and love your flaws. Your imperfections make you perfect.
You don't need to love your flaws. One of your biggest flaws is how you act when you're drunk, and you're gonna give up alcohol and be very glad that you did. You do not need to lie to yourself. Toxic positivity sucks. I was so guilty of this, and I'm so sorry to anyone who was following me back then and felt like, oh, like a failure for not being more positive. Like, I was young, I was learning, I had access to a whole big audience on a camera. This is still the wild, wild west. Toxic positivity is the pressure to only display positive emotions, suppressing negative feelings. It's very invalidating. I do think to properly manage your emotions, you need full acknowledgement of negative emotions. Interesting fact, I filmed this video yesterday. So it's a sponsored video. There's a bit of time pressure. I filmed it yesterday, and the microphone wasn't connected to the one that's on top of my camera. This is new, and I don't have, like, I'm a one-man band. I don't have an assistant who comes while I'm filming like a lot of YouTubers do, and it didn't record, and I had a panic attack and was very stressed for the rest of the day. It was my son's 3rd birthday as well, and he could tell I'd been crying because my makeup had smudged and stuff, but I pulled myself together for him because it was his day and I didn't want it to be ruined. So we had, did his cake. Me and him had made a cake together, and we wanted to do like his presents and stuff with the grandparents. And anyway, he knew that there was something wrong with me and asked me, was I okay? And we're very in tune with each other. Like, I think he can tell, even if I've said nothing, by just like the slightest expression on my face. And I'm honest with my child. I tell him, I'm just very tired, honey. And I always make sure that I'm just like, I love you so much. And yeah, because I read, and I've talked to my therapist about this, that it's so important for children to understand the range of human emotions and to see their parent model how to self-regulate. And yeah, he is so good at coming down from a tantrum himself. He sees me having to sometimes do deep breaths, or just go and calm down. I'll say, like, I have to go and calm down for a minute. He has his calm down spot in his room, and when he's if he's really angry or whatever, like he calms down in like 5 seconds. Like, okay, I'm okay now. Yeah, it's been a beautiful, amazing thing to not be lying to my child. Like, as a young child, you're not stupid. Children are so intelligent, and they can tell when there's something wrong with their parents. And if their parents put on a facade and pretend everything's okay, they're first of all setting the children up for unrealistic expectations of life and the world. And also, it's like, imagine just going through life, just not really being able to distinguish when someone is or isn't lying to you. Because it's not just a white lie. Like, it's important to be able to be real with the people that you live with. It's also natural to experience mom guilt, like if you're feeling stressed when you want to just be completely happy and present on your child's birthday. And yeah, I just wanted to share that because I'm so not about repressing negative emotions anymore.
I love myself, therefore I love you. But right now you hate yourself, therefore you hate me. But listen up, Murph.
I thought that would sound all like spiritual guru, because you know we're all one, we're all connected. But I'm sorry. Like, I think my food just came up my throat a bit.
This is the only thing you're ever gonna get. This body, this mind, this life. Time to grab it by the balls. Stop being so afraid to leave the house because of what others will think of you. Open the door and go for a walk and just look around you and breathe in the lovely smells. Stop taking refuge in food because it's not going to solve any of your problems. It's just a coping mechanism. It's a comfort.
So it's not just those things. Food addiction is something you don't realize that you have yet, and you'll have to continue to refine that balance forever, because food isn't something you can just quit, like, you know, like cigarettes, like wine. You need to eat food to live. So yeah, you need a good therapist on your side and good habit building.
Boys will come and go. The ones who are worth your time and effort are going to give you time and effort, and if they're not right for you, accept it and wish them well and move on. Don't harbour grudges. Don't hold in negative feelings. Just release them out. Then they can't control you anymore. Stop thinking that.
So I was saying this, right? But at 24, I definitely hadn't fully accepted these facts just yet. I still desperately clung on to relationships and friendships. Like, I think I was saying it out loud so I would absorb it, maybe. You know the way they say you best teach what you need to learn? Is that the quote? And yeah, you, woman, you're so young, you can afford to just waste away years waiting to see if a relationship is right, you know, because there's potential there. But when you get older, you'll know you can't change someone. Like, stop ignoring red flags when they're flapping you in the face. Nothing's going to change when it's been a pattern of behaviour for years. And I think at this stage I was in a relationship with a much older person, very set in his ways, and I just was holding out all this hope that it would be a completely different relationship. Maybe if I just wait another 2 weeks, another 2 months, another 2 years. But yeah, when you get older, you're just like I got to 25. I was 25, and if I started dating someone and it was like 2 months in and I was seeing like red flags and they were just not, you know, on the same page as me when it comes to like where they wanted to live and have babies and how we respect one another and all the things, it was like, no, boom, next. Right, go on, away with you, have a good life. See you later.
Stop thinking that the world is against you. It's only going to be against you as long as you think it's against you. Get that globe on your side. Literally.
Does it count as secondhand embarrassment when it's you from the past? I'd like to apologise.
All the things that you've ever hoped and dreamed for will come true. You're going to meet amazing people who have such a huge impact on you. You're going to make amazing friends, and the friends that don't appreciate you right now because of how crazy you are right now, they're not going to be there in the long run, and maybe that's for the best.
I was being a bit mean just there. No, she's adorable, and I want to give her a big hug.
Never let the judgment of others impact on your decisions, on what you wear, on how you do your hair, on what you read, on the music you listen to, on the people you hang out with, on how you talk, on how you present yourself.
So I totally still hammer on about this. Like, I literally last week just posted this reel.
I'm 34 years old, and last week someone told me to dress my age when I shared myself in this dusky pink glitter knit, green cord skirt and black Converse. You look like an overgrown child. Imagine how you might embarrass your kids. There's no expiration date on having fun with clothes. Wear what you like and do this at the rules.
But you're talking to teenage Melanie, and teenagers don't know how to like deeply connect with their peers. So much of feeling connection when you're that young does come from conforming to how other people dress and their attitudes. It's kind of a rite of passage, isn't it? Like, I was obsessed with what other people thought of me as a teenager, and basically you wouldn't be giving yourself this advice if you hadn't lived through that, because that's where the learning is. And this is something. So I've written two novels, a lot about mental health in Glass Houses, the most recent one, but this I wrote like a kind of advicey life guide book, and I love it. I'm still proud of it and stuff, but like so much of this stuff is like, it's stuff you have to live through. You can't just read it or have someone say it to you and it to make as much of an impact on you as if you'd gone through it yourself. We do learn better through experience, you know, but does that mean I'm not going to tell my 12-year-old not to wear miniskirts that show her ass cheeks? No, I'm definitely going to be that mother. I know that she'll probably go and get changed in her friend's house behind my back and go to the junior disco like that anyway. And there is no right way to do things. There's no right way. If you were given a life manual at age 12, it'd be pretty fucking boring. All of it, wouldn't it?
And the only thing that matters is being happy and spreading happiness.
Back to kind of what I was talking about earlier, but no. A lot of the times what makes me feel happy in the moment can make me very unhappy in the long run, and vice versa. Like staying up all night studying for a stupid exam that you don't care about might lead to a better grade. That might lead to a higher overall grade in your degree, might lead to a better job, might lead to more money, might lead to then less stress. Not having to work so much in a job that you hate, more time with your family. It is important to think about future you sometimes and just do things that are just a pain in the arse in the moment, like lifting heavy weights. So there's a more nuanced conversation to be had
You were
here.
19 years old when you found YouTubers. Socially, it changed who you were. You would go to YouTube for inspiration on absolutely everything, and you would listen to girls talk positively, and you would absorb that into your body. So let's just pretend that I'm one of the girls that I used to watch. I think in a way I have become them. They've impacted me so much that I wanted to be able to give back and do the same for other young girls. And sure, look at you now, you're flying, aren't you?
Yesterday, when I remember I told you I'm reshooting this video, I cried hearing that back because yesterday was the first like initial genuine reaction to the video. There's so many things I've done because of YouTubers, so much I've learned from YouTubers. I've breastfed because of YouTubers. I never would have intended on doing that if I hadn't learned about the benefits of it from YouTube. I've embarked on an entire home renovation, and that would have been my worst nightmare, but seeing other girls who I watched for a long time do it, I was like, if she can do it, I can do it. I've become friends with YouTubers from all around the world, and like this website has penetrated my life in so many meaningful ways. And I'm at that age, like I have no idea what's coming, how much more is going to happen. And what I would say to her is that when you're lying in bed at night and your brain is like, what you're posting is cringe, what you're watching is so cringy, it's all so cringy. There's nothing wrong with a bit of cringe. Your dreams literally manifest on the other side of cringe.
You've overcome very deep depression, eating disorders, body dysmorphia, anxiety disorder, being a bit of a psycho bitch.
I used to think of overcoming as defeating, like I'm done with that, like I've overcome it. But now I think of overcoming much more as succeeding in dealing with, you know, like body dysmorphia, anxiety. These are not beasts I have slain. These are beasts that are chained up.
Never say the word can't, never say the word try. I don't think the word try even exists. You want to do something, you go do it.
Try is very much a word that's in my vocabulary. You know, I like to try new foods, try new sex positions to see what you like, try out different creative projects to see what you actually enjoy. Try. There's nothing wrong with that word. What was I talking about?
You're not going to be able to change your whole world overnight, but you can change the world one step at a time. Love from future you.
That's too adorable, because literally I think 2 weeks ago I started having a few reels kind of go a bit viral, and I changed my Instagram bio just for like new people coming in to building a life I love one brick at a time. I thought that kind of best communicated me anyway, but I can't believe I've been saying that for so long. Like I had written an Instagram caption about that, like viewing your dream life as a wall, and knowing that a wall doesn't just appear, it has to be built. And I think there's just a lot to be said for really focusing on laying each brick perfectly. Spend the time doing it right so that the eventual wall will look nice, will be straight, you know, it'll be what it's supposed to be. But what matters is this moment and like enjoying it and being there. So yeah, I love that. I love that I said that. And this was an interesting experience. If you'd like to see more kinds of videos like this, please let me know. Please comment down below something you'd tell your past self, something you've learned in the last year, 5 years. Thanks to BetterHelp again for sponsoring me, for supporting my channel so much. Do check out the link down below if you're interested. And I'll see you again in no, we're not going to do the normal ending. We never do that. This is how we end videos around here. No. No. Whenever, wherever we're meant to be together, I'll be there and you'll be near. And that's the deal, my dear.